teachers who will say, well, how can you teach in this area? How can you teach in that area? But I feel like if you really worth your salt, then you'll teach in a poor area, you know, if you really get worth your salt. If you don't have that experience, because you can go teach in an area that's already proven to be
Right.
a good area or proven to have those good scores,
Right.
because then your work's already cut out for you. It's already done.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And not to mention, as an educator and once a former student, we were all students, right? We
Yes.
all had
We were.
teachers. The good thing about being in education is that you just never know when a child's only positive interaction of the day may be in that building. And I love the fact that as an adult and as an educator, I have an opportunity to influence hundreds of kids at one time, even if it's something as simple as my good morning. I know they'd be so sick of me, but here she go again. But first of all, enthusiasm is contagious. And you just never know what these children are facing before they get on that bus, what is waiting for them when they get off the bus. So the good thing about it is the schools are safe havens, and they are places where kids know that there will be some adults they can trust, and get to be with your buddies.
Yeah.
So I'm proud to be a part of the system, and of course, we're working one day at a time to tweak and get it
Yeah.
close to perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I really think about standardized testing, not about the teachers so much, but about the students and the pressure that's on the families. I mean, I teach third grade, and that's the first year they really have.
That's the
Well,
grade.
that was the first year.
Yeah,
Now they
testing.
have all these other tests that kindergartners have to take now,
Yeah.
that are state mandatory. But whatever. But the families come in and like, well, first day of school, like, well, about testing. So what's going on? It's like that should be the furthest thing from your mind, or worried about. If I'm 8 or 9, I shouldn't be worried about how I'm going to do on a standardized test,
Right.
if I'm going to be able to move forward. And
Right.
I think we're adding those extra stresses, and our society has become that because we're so data driven that it's like, I have to always be the best. I have to do this, or I'm going to let you down. And it's like, we all make mistakes. That's how we learn.
That's the truth. Hopefully they can streamline the process. The good thing about being in the 21st century is that technology now enables you to collect the data without you even realizing it. So maybe we'll come up with a process where we can measure how effective the teaching has been, and we can measure how well the students have learned without them even realizing it was a quote test.
And as they always say, the standards shift on down every year. The standards shift on down. And it makes a lot of teachers fearful to be in the classroom, because when you measure the teaching, and I've seen it happen in schools where one in a grade level where 3 teachers did really well, and another teacher had a harder classroom, and their scores weren't the best, and that teacher's kind of felt bullied by her administration or her
Or
co-workers,
his.
because they're like, well, my kids had a harder time, but they're frowning upon you like, well, I got 90% mastery, and
Yeah,
It-
but you
it's-
know what? Numbers don't lie. And one good thing I can say is this. The good thing about the data is that you have the data from the previous year. So there is evidence that some of these kids came to me with not deficiencies, but they were behind 2 grade levels already. So that one good thing about the state of Georgia is now they've implemented the student growth model. And what it is measuring how much a child has grown in your year, in your classroom. Not so much as comparing apples to oranges and but has he grown at all? And now one thing I can appreciate about all this data collection is if you have a student that come into your classroom and he's 2 grade levels behind, he may not come up to grade level in your year, but if he's grown some, you are credited with that, and again, there's pros and there's cons, but the beautiful thing about it is that now we're becoming more effective in collecting information.
So you think they should I think they have taken away incentives from teachers.
Yes, I do think that because that will discourage cheating. Like, I
Yeah.
hate to say it, but we all signed up for this.
Yeah.
We signed up for this, and hopefully you signed up with your heart leading, that you really wanted to have a day-to-day impact on children, and you really truly wanted to make a difference in their lives, and you really hope that they learn while on your watch.
Yeah.
But if you're signing up for the money, you're in the wrong business, because you will not get rich in education. Can I get an
Oh,
amen?
amen.
Oh, no, you're not going to get rich in this business. So
Unless you write textbooks, but that's another.
right. And who writes text? Okay, I'm not trying to knock textbook writers, but that is
And
not
really,
what
that's
signed
I
up to
think
do.
in the near future, textbooks are going to be phased out. It's going to be more
Electronic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.